This page showcases the front cover of the official Bomberman guidebook. The cover prominently features Bomberman standing in front of a golden coin and a large bomb. The Japanese title Bomberman is displayed in large, stylized letters, followed by the text, meaning Official Guidebook. Below this, the publisher Shogakukan is credited along with the series name Wonder Life Special. This page is the contents section of the Bomberman 64 official guidebook. It is split into 3 main sections: Basic Strategy, Story Mode, and Battle Mode, followed by Secret File and a 4-koma manga section. The Basic Strategy section covers basic techniques and item introductions, starting on page 4 and 6 respectively. Story Mode section starts on page 10 and covers basic knowledge, followed by walkthroughs of each world. World 1, Green Garden, page 16. World 2, Blue Resort, page 27. World 3, Red Mountain, page 37. World 4, White Ice, page 49. World 5, Black City, page 61. And World 6, Rainbow Palace, page 77. The Battle Mode section begins on page 94 with basic knowledge, then details each stage from Stage 1, Beginning Battle, page 98, to Stage 10 Feet, Tsurutsuru Glass, page 107, going through stages with names like Upward Battle, Pyramid, Greedy Hamare, Tengoku Jigoku, Kusaba no Kage De, Mizu no Sesaragi, Kaizausen, and Blizzard Battle. Finally, there's a Secret File section on page 109, and the Bomberman 4-koma Theater, Musashi no Atsushi, comics are featured on pages 8, 60, 92, and 108. This page is titled Chapter 1 Basic System Guide and features a Bomberman character. The page contains a section called Basic Strategy that emphasizes the importance of knowing the game's fundamentals to succeed and get ahead of rivals. It advises players to prepare thoroughly, suggesting that the game is challenging and unforgiving to those who don't master the basics. The page sets the stage for a guide focused on fundamental gameplay strategies for a Bomberman game. This page is about basic techniques in Bomberman 64. It describes 4 fundamental actions players need to master. The first technique, Place a Bomb, is performed by pressing the A button, stating it's the same as previous Bomberman games, where you place bombs at your feet. Next, Remote Bomb Detonation is activated with the Z trigger, allowing players to detonate remote bombs at their chosen time. The third technique, Bomb Kick, is done by either making contact with a bomb or pressing the A button twice. This is noted as a basic A button technique and useful for evading danger. Lastly, Stop a Bomb, which is activated by the R trigger, allows players to stop kicked bombs in a desired location, described as an essential technique for battles. This page is a basic strategy guide for Bomberman 64. It showcases 6 different gameplay actions with button combinations. The first section, Hold Item, explains that pressing the B button in front of an object lets you pick it up, and this can be bombs, items, or even enemies. Next is Bomb Lift, performed by pressing B and then A buttons. This action involves a series of commands to place a bomb and then lift it up. The third section, Make a Charged Bomb, is done by rapidly pressing the A button while holding a bomb. If you stop pressing A midway, the bomb will deflate. Throw Item is performed by pressing the B button while holding an item. The throwing distance can be adjusted to 3 levels, with weaker and stronger throws available for easier aiming. The Bomb Air Explosion move, activated by pressing B, then the Z trigger, only works with remote bombs and is especially useful for attacking enemies in the air. Finally, Stun Recovery is explained. When Bomberman is stunned, rotating the 3D stick will help him recover faster. This page is an item introduction and showcases 6 items from Bomberman 64. It explains that there are 10 item types in total in both story and battle modes, and using them effectively is key to victory. The items featured are Fire. Picking up a fire item increases the flame size of bombs when they explode. In normal Bomberman mode, it powers up to 3 levels, and in Power Bomberman mode, up to 6 levels. The text warns against picking up too many in story mode. Bomb. Each bomb item increases the number of bombs Bomberman can place at once. The maximum number of placeable bombs is 8. It encourages players to collect these items as they are very useful. Power. The power item enhances the power of normal bomb flames, allowing them to defeat enemies that would normally take 2 hits. Power bombs defeat enemies in one hit. It can also destroy hard blocks and walls. The effect of this item disappears when exiting a stage in story mode. Remote control. This item allows players to use remote control bombs, enabling detonation at a desired time. It mentions that in story mode, there are many situations where this item is essential to progress, and losing it by leaving a stage or dying can be detrimental. Heart. A heart item provides protection from damage one time. In Waku Waku Bomberman mode, presumably a multiplayer mode name not detailed on the page, when damage is taken, the heart scatters, but it can be picked up again if it lands nearby. Gold card. Gold cards appear in story mode, with 5 hidden in each stage. While not essential to collect all of them to complete the game, further details are available on page 109. This page details some items and features in Bomberman 64. First up are the blue stone and red stone items found in story mode. Collecting 50 blue stones will grant you an extra continue. Red stones are worth 5 blue stones. Next, it talks about custom parts, also found in story mode. These parts, obtainable in red, blue, green, and yellow, customize Bomberman's head, body, arms, and legs. Collect all 40 types to create your own unique Bomberman. The page then covers the Dokuro, skull, item, which appears in battle mode. Picking it up inflicts a random status effect for you. You can also throw the Dokuro at an opponent to inflict a status effect on them. The effects listed include changes to body size and movement speed, preventing bomb placement, slowing movement when using the stick, and invincibility, although this invincibility ends if you hit someone or time runs out. Finally, the devil item is described, a rare item also in battle mode, appearing only once per battle. Picking it up causes a random effect that impacts everyone. These powerful effects include making everyone bigger and slower, summoning a dragon that blows things away, making everyone throw objects, randomly swapping player positions, maximizing everyone's bomb power, and making the battlefield flash with colors. This page is a 4-panel comic strip titled Baku Bomberman 4 Coma Theater Part 1, and it's themed around Bomberman 64, highlighted by the subtitle Baku Bon is 3D. The first panel shows Red Bomberman aggressively pushing White Bomberman, saying, "Bang bang, I'll bomb you," while White Bomberman exclaims, "I am White Bomberman." In the second panel, White and Blue Bomberman are at the edge of a cliff. White Bomberman is worried, saying, "This place looks deep, huh? I wonder if it's okay to jump down." And Blue Bomberman confidently replies, "Jump down!" The third panel shows White and Blue Bomberman in a grassy area, presumably having jumped down. White Bomberman suggests, "First, let's take a good look at the stage," and they check from the right, front, and left. White Bomberman then asks Blue Bomberman to tie something to this end for me. The fourth and fifth panels reveal the punchline. Red Bomberman is now holding White Bomberman upside down by a rope tied to his leg, above a bomb. Red Bomberman says, "From above," and "below 2 less than 3. All haters." White Bomberman is terrified, realizing, "A bottomless," and "Bottomless," and "Bottomless." Red Bomberman then laughs maniacally, saying, "You're looking too much." As White Bomberman screams, "Ah, what did you tie it to, tilde tilde?" The final panel is an explosion sound effect, done, showing the bomb going off. It seems Red Bomberman tricked White Bomberman into being dangled over a bomb for a closer look, highlighting the chaotic and often humorous nature of Bomberman games. This page is Chapter 2, titled Story Mode Guide. The text introduces the Story Mode Guide, promising a complete walkthrough that will guide players to an emotional ending. It mentions that secrets within the game will be revealed, including complete maps of all 6 worlds and item locations. The page also features an image of Bomberman holding a bomb. This page is titled Story Mode Basic Knowledge, and prepares players for Bomberman 64. It emphasizes learning the basic rules and techniques before starting the game. The page highlights that Story Mode has 6 worlds and 24 stages. Worlds 1 to 4 can be played in any order, encouraging exploration. World 5, Black City, is locked until Worlds 14 are cleared. World 6, Rainbow Palace, has hidden conditions to unlock its existence. Clearing all worlds leads to the true ending, which is described as challenging but rewarding. The page then explains the difference between Waku Waku mode and Doki Doki mode. Waku Waku mode changes item locations, enemy strength, and clear times. Doki Doki mode features tougher enemies with more HP that move quickly. And crucially, hearts cannot be reused in this mode, making it significantly more difficult. The screenshots show gameplay from Bomberman 64, featuring level selection and in-game action. One screenshot shows the World Select screen with Green Garden, highlighted as a recommended starting point. Another screenshot shows in-game action in what looks like a brick dungeon level. Captions detail the differences in enemy strength and heart mechanics between the two modes, with Doki Doki mode being presented as much harder. This page is about collecting gold cards in Bomberman 64's story mode, highlighting that each stage contains 5 of them. It explains that acquiring gold cards is an important objective beyond just defeating bosses. The page details how to get these cards in stages 1 and 2, mentioning that the methods are generally predetermined, so checking for hints on cards you haven't obtained yet is a good idea. For stages 13, cards 1 through 3 are hidden somewhere within the map itself, referencing page 15 of the guide for map details. Card 4 in these stages is earned by defeating 30 enemies. Card 5 is obtained by clearing the stage within the set time limit. For stages 24, cards 1 through 4 have acquisition conditions that vary depending on the boss you are facing, suggesting a check of the boss strategy page. Similar to stages 13, card 5 in stages 24 is also tied to clearing the stage and boss battle within the given time limit. A crucial tip emphasized at the bottom is that after obtaining a gold card, you absolutely must reach the goal. If you don't reach the goal after getting a card, it won't be saved, and all your effort will be wasted. Make sure to head straight for the goal after picking up a card. This page is a guide for stages 1 to 3 of Bomberman 64, advising players to get cards in 2 separate attempts. The page highlights tips for progressing smoothly through these stages, focusing on collecting all cards. The text points out that stages 13 are designed to be played twice to collect all cards. The first playthrough should focus on obtaining cards 1 through 4 and custom parts. This initial run might take time, but clearing the stage is achievable. The second playthrough, after familiarizing yourself with the map and powering up with items, should make obtaining card 5 easier. The first attempt serves as preparation for the second. The page is divided into 6 sections, each with a screenshot and a brief explanation. 1. Item collection. It shows a scene with Bomberman collecting items. The tip mentions using bombs to destroy pots, blocks, and trees to find items. It suggests, unexpectedly, something can be obtained this way, so try bombing everything. 2. Card 14 acquisition. This screenshot shows Bomberman defeating enemies. The advice here is to defeat many enemies to obtain cards 1 to 4. These cards are hidden within enemies 1 to 3. Explore the map thoroughly to find them. 3. Olaf. Parts acquisition. This section mentions custom parts are also obtainable and shouldn't be forgotten. Like cards 13, they are often hidden in unexpected places. 4. Clear. This screenshot shows Bomberman reaching the goal. It states that once you have all the cards and parts, the stage is cleared. The path from the start to the goal should be easily remembered. 5. Retry. This image shows the stage start screen again. It advises entering the stage again for a retry. The objective this time is to clear the stage while obtaining card 5. Aim straight for the goal this time. 6. Card 5 acquisition. This section shows the gold card and the time taken. It states that if you clear the stage within the target time, you can get card 5. It emphasizes that while speed is important, taking your time to explore is also key to condensing the overall playtime. This page is titled, In Stage 24, Don't Forget Preparations. It is giving tips for Stage 24, advising players to prepare thoroughly before the boss battle in Bomberman 64. The guide suggests first powering up by collecting bombs and fire in suitable stages to reach the strongest state. It also recommends getting hearts to maximize health. For the boss battle, the advice is to prioritize clearing the card acquisition conditions and initially avoid dealing damage if possible. When acquiring cards 1 to 4, players should aim to counterattack to inflict damage. For card 5, the strategy is to defeat the boss within the time limit, highlighting the time-based nature of obtaining this card. The screenshots illustrate gameplay moments of powering up, collecting hearts, and engaging in a boss battle against a winged enemy, all featuring Bomberman. The page emphasizes strategic preparation and timed execution to succeed in Stage 24 of Bomberman 64. This page introduces the bomb jump technique in Bomberman 64. It explains that bomb jump is a vital skill when gold cards or custom parts are unavailable. This technique involves jumping on bombs to reach new areas. Pattern 1 demonstrates how to use bomb jump to cross valleys or gaps. It highlights using bomb kick to position bombs and pressing the R trigger at the right moment for the jump. If there is a wall, bomb throwing is also a viable option. Pattern 2 shows how to ascend from a low place to a high place using bomb jump. It suggests using bomb throws to stack bombs, allowing Bomberman to jump higher. Crump. It mentions that for ledges, normal bombs and charged bombs can be used effectively. Finally, it unveils the secret technique, self-bomb jump. This advanced move involves placing a bomb near a ledge, standing close to a wall, and then throwing a bomb to propel yourself upwards, successfully launching onto the higher platform using the explosion. This page provides some helpful tips for using bombs in Bomberman 64. It emphasizes the importance of distance control when throwing bombs, suggesting that players should master weak throws first. For precise aiming, it recommends using strong throws, but warns that medium throws are less reliable. The page also introduces a technique of vertically stacking bombs in narrow spaces to reach higher areas. The page then explains how to read map symbols starting from page 16. A question mark icon indicates hidden custom parts, and these parts are also listed in the MAP section. A heart icon shows hidden hearts, but hearts obtained by defeating enemies are not included. An R icon marks random remote control locations, details of which are described in the main text. A P icon denotes power-up locations, also detailed in the main text, including those with random placements. An A icon represents map connections, with arrows indicating one-way exits. Finally, the page describes how to find gold cards, using a grid system with numbers 1 to 5. The numbers on the card correspond to these grid numbers, visible in the pause menu. The color of the card also indicates the game mode: red for normal mode, blue for expert mode, and red and blue halved cards for a mix of both modes. The gold cards are found in the locations indicated by this grid system, even for items of the same color. This page introduces the Green Garden area from Bomberman 64. It describes it as a gigantic ancient ruin designed to prevent intruders, requiring players to navigate from the outside to the inside and then to the highest point, solving riddles along the way that will be quite challenging. The page highlights 6 different enemy types players will encounter in this area. Red, described as not really attacking much and appearing as a lower-level combatant, also found in other worlds. Blue, wields blades in both hands, swinging them around to attack, and, like red, appears in other worlds as well. Totem, a stone-like totem pole that moves around, described as peon, suggesting a hopping or bouncing movement. Mash, rock-like and hard, splitting when given damage multiple times. It's suggested to throw them to defeat them quickly. Flarebird, occasionally dive bombs from above, attacking directly. It's advised to defeat them with aerial bombs while they are in the sky. Craig, upon finding Bomberman, it will charge to attack. Defeating it sometimes yields hearts as a reward. A screenshot in the top right corner gives a glimpse of the 3D Green Garden level environment. This page focuses on Stage 1 titled Defend the Red Jewel of Bomberman 64. It explains that within MAP1 and MAP4 of this stage, there are 4 switches to activate to reach the goal. While just clearing the stage by moving between 2 maps is simple, obtaining gold cards and custom parts is more challenging. The strategy emphasizes first acquiring the remote control and power in MAP4. Then, bomb jumping or destroying weak pillars becomes necessary to progress. To travel between MAP1 and MAP4, players need to ignite the dragon statue's mouth with fire. The page includes gameplay screenshots demonstrating key mechanics. One screenshot highlights switches under metal nets, illustrating how to use a bomb kick to move a pillar and access a switch concealed beneath a metal net. Another screenshot, titled Arrange Bombs and Head to the Stone Pillar, shows Bomberman strategically placing bombs to reach higher platforms and subsequently using a bomb kick to manipulate a stone pillar. The page also presents a map of Stage 1 to aid players in navigation. This page details maps and gameplay advice for Bomberman 64. It shows MAP2 and MAP3 layouts with corresponding gameplay screenshots and tips. For MAP2, the guide explains how to break the floor and infiltrate underground, noting that darker floor sections can be destroyed with bombs. Falling through these holes leads to MAP3. The page highlights that in MAP2, players can increase their continue count by collecting stones that appear after destroying blocks. The item marked with a question mark in MAP2 is identified as the Dragon Helm. MAP3 is also displayed, and the item with a question mark in this map is identified as the Dragon Glove. This page from a Japanese Bomberman 64 guidebook highlights gameplay tips for the game. The page focuses on 4 key scenarios with accompanying screenshots. The first scenario: bomb stacking for block destruction, advises players to stack bombs to safely destroy aerial blocks. The second: move slowly to avoid falling into water, instructs careful movement on narrow platforms over water to prevent falling. The third: warp by arranging bombs, explains how to use bombs to activate warp points, specifically mentioning aligning bombs towards walls in levels like MAP1. Finally, goal after stepping on all switches, describes levels where players must activate all switches, sometimes located under bridges, to reach the goal. The central image is a top-down view of MAP 4 inches, showcasing a level with a goal area and various in-game elements, illustrating these gameplay mechanics. This page of the Bomberman 64 guidebook provides gameplay hints for 2 different map sections, MAP5 and MAP6. For MAP5, titled Destroy the Pillars and Go Down, the guide advises players on how to navigate a pillar maze. The trick is to use diagonally thrown bombs to destroy the pillars. It's suggested to target the pillar on the right side of the MAP first, and then use a diagonal throw to send bombs toward the left pillar to clear a path downward. Moving on to MAP6, titled Stack Bombs and Get Parts, this section focuses on acquiring the Dragon Helm in exciting mode. To obtain it, players need to stack bombs and detonate them to ignite a high-position block with fire. The guide cautions that bombs meant for stacking might bounce back and cause damage, so collecting hearts beforehand is recommended. For success, the guide suggests stacking 3 to 4 individual bombs and throwing charged bombs towards the back wall to ensure the flames reach the target block. Successfully executing this will cause parts to fall. If not, players are advised to try again. This page is about Stage 2, titled Sirius's Challenge, from Bomberman 64. It highlights strategies to defeat the boss character Sirius using tame bombs or charged bombs. The page explains that Sirius, who gave advice in Stage 1, now challenges Bomberman. While Sirius uses bomb kicks and bomb throws, his attacks are not too aggressive, emphasizing this fight is more of a test of skill. The guide advises using tame bombs effectively to defeat Sirius. The How to Damage Sirius Using Tame Bombs section instructs players to start creating a tame bomb when Sirius is wandering around and aim at his openings to throw it. After hitting him and obtaining card 1, players should continue throwing tame bombs to inflict fire damage on Sirius to get card 2. It suggests repeating this tame bomb attack strategy to defeat him. The gold card acquisition conditions are listed as follows. 1. Hit Sirius with a tame bomb to make him feel good. 2. Hit Sirius with tame bomb fire. 3. Defeat Sirius by hitting him with fire, without knocking him off the stage. 4. Damage Sirius within 2,000 time units. 5. Defeat Sirius within 20,000 time units. The Heart Recovery is also important section. Reminds players that hearts appear in story mode to give damage and should be collected. The screenshots visually demonstrate gameplay scenarios, including Bomberman using tame bombs against Sirius in the stage. The text accompanying the screenshots further explains how Sirius moves around and when to time the tame bomb throws. This page is a guide for a stage called Jewel and Mischievous Kid in Bomberman 64. The objective is to get the blue jewel and catch the mischievous imp. The imp starts at the beginning of MAP1 and moves to MAP1, MAP1, and MAP4. You need to chase the imp until it reaches MAP4, where Sirius will appear and trap it, revealing the goal. Use the jump pad below MAP4 to reach the goal. The page also provides a gameplay tip for a section with a warp point and a dragon meal enemy. It advises that if you try to cross directly, you'll fall into the water. To overcome this, you should throw a bomb and kick it to create a bridge, then use a bomb jump to cross. A screenshot illustrates this technique, showing Bomberman throwing and kicking a bomb over the water. This page is a guide for Bomberman 64 story mode, specifically for Map 2. It explains how to use bombs to activate jump pads. The instructions detail how to kick bombs onto the jump pad to propel it upwards. It also mentions that the third jewel is located on the jump pad. Another section explains that destroying pillars will reveal warp points, but warns that doing so will prevent you from going to Map 2. It advises to collect the dragon mail beforehand. The text describes destroying pillars by hitting them with bombs from the stairs and using the warp point that appears. The page features screenshots showing gameplay scenarios related to these instructions. There's also a character art of Bomberman on the right side of the page. This page is a guide for Bomberman 64, focusing on gameplay tips for Map 3. It highlights 3 key techniques. Firstly, it explains using bomb jumps to progress. This involves destroying blocks and then using bomb jumps to cross gaps to advance further into the level. Secondly, it details obtaining Card 1 by using an air blast. This requires using remote bombs for mid-air explosions near jump platforms to acquire the card. Lastly, it shows how to move a carried jewel to the goal area on Map 3, suggesting the use of jump platforms to navigate while carrying the jewel. The page gives visual examples with screenshots of these techniques in action. This page focuses on the story mode of Bomberman 64. It provides gameplay tips and map information for Level 4. The page details 2 key techniques. Bomb jump to overcome depressions, explaining how to use bomb jumps to cross gaps, and jump down from above and land on a platform, describing how to reach Card 3 by jumping down from a higher platform. The main image is a map of Level 4, marked with points of interest like GOL, a question mark, and letters P, D, and R. Numbered arrows indicate paths to follow. Another section explains how to enter the interior from the hidden passage. It describes approaching a wall, using the control stick to find a hidden entrance, and pressing the C button to reveal the inside and obtain the dragon spike, which is likely a weapon or item. The text mentions that parts are hidden within blocks, inside the hidden passage. This page is a strategy guide for Stage 4 boss in Bomberman 64, featuring the dragon boss, Drago. The page is titled Winged Guardian Beast, and details how to defeat Drago and obtain a gold card. Drago is a powerful dragon boss encountered at the highest point of the ruins. He attacks with fire and claw attacks, making him a formidable opponent, especially in the confined bridge area. The guide provides tips on how to fight Drago, recommending players to aim for the moments when Drago is vulnerable, like when he is flying under the bridge to throw power bombs at him for aerial damage. To get the gold card, you need to fulfill specific conditions. 1. Turn Drago's right wing black by hitting it with fire. Quote. 2. Turn Drago's left wing black by hitting it with fire. V. 3. Turn Drago's horn black by hitting it with fire. 4. Turn Drago's tail black by hitting it with fire. V. 5. Defeat Drago within the time limit. 20,000 in Waku Waku mode, or 18,000 in Doki Doki mode. The screenshots demonstrate gameplay scenarios, showing bomb placements and Drago's attack patterns, focusing on exploiting his weaknesses, particularly his tail, during charge attacks. The guide emphasizes the importance of using fire attacks strategically to blacken specific body parts to achieve the gold card, alongside a quick defeat. This page showcases the Blue Resort world in Bomberman 64. It describes it as a scenic world that catches the eye, featuring bridges and water gates within its town. The text encourages exploration to every corner, suggesting players can utilize bridges and change water levels. 4 characters are introduced on this page. First is Tefu Tefu, described as a butterfly-like enemy inhabiting this world, seemingly harmless at first, but upon defeat, it releases a heart. Next is Gyapi, a creature that is usually swimming in water, but starts walking when water is gone. It's described as annoying, and will chase after you if you get close. Then, the guard is introduced. Originally a soldier of this world, he has fallen asleep. He's described as relentlessly attacking, and not someone to underestimate. Lastly, Puni Puni is detailed as a squishy, floating enemy in water. It has average health, so it's best to avoid direct confrontation. This page from a Bomberman 64 guide focuses on a stage called Search, the switch in the palm of your hand. The walkthrough explains that while the goal is close to the starting point, it won't appear until switches are activated. To reach the warehouse, which is key, players need to follow a path MAP 1 greater than 2 greater than 3 greater than 4 greater than 1. using bombs to navigate bridges. The guide points out that careful map observation is important, as some areas become accessible by activating gate switches to change water levels. A more direct approach is mentioned, using a jump to get straight into the warehouse. The page highlights a section titled, "Enter the warehouse and step on the bridge switch." It instructs players to enter the warehouse entrance and locate a blue switch. Stepping on this blue switch will activate a bridge and make the goal appear. Screenshots illustrate these steps, showing Bomberman inside the warehouse and activating the crucial switch. The guide directs players to move from MAP 4 inches to this location. The map image labeled MAP 1 inch displays the level layout with start and goal marked, also indicating a symbol represents a metal knuckle location. This page highlights gameplay tips for Bomberman 64, its story mode for MAP 2, and it details a few techniques. First, it explains bomb jump to infiltrate the mansion, showing how to use bomb jumps to reach higher areas, specifically to get into a mansion. The guide advises that once inside the mansion, you should head upwards on the map to find items. Next, it covers use charge bombs to build bridges. But actually, it's about using charge bombs to destroy bridges to advance through MAP 2. It clarifies that all bridges within MAP 2 can be destroyed using charge bombs. Finally, it talks about cannons are destroyed with charge bombs. It reveals that by destroying cannons with charge bombs, you can obtain Card 1. However, the guide points out that the location of Card 1 after destroying a cannon is not fixed, so players will need to search around to find it. This page is a guide for Map 3 of Bomberman 64. It displays a top-down view map of the level, showing different areas marked with letters B, C, and E. At the bottom of the page, under the title, "Switch On After Getting Card 3, are 3 screenshots with instructions. The first screenshot shows a switch, which needs to be pressed. The text explains that if you step on the switch at the wrong time, you will not be able to return. It advises to get the card first. The second screenshot explains to return the way you came and step on the switch. The third screenshot indicates that the water in MAP 4 will recede, and you will be able to walk under the bridge. This page from the guide focuses on Bomberman 64 and provides gameplay hints for players. It highlights 2 key techniques: throwing bombs into the mansion, which is described for the Doki Doki mode, where bombing windows makes parts appear and eventually opens the window after explosion. The second tip is about using a long throw to build a bridge, advising players to aim towards a bridge and use a strong bomb throw to create a bridge and cross over. The page also includes a map labeled MAP 4, showing a route and points of interest marked to P with E and B locations indicated along the path. Additionally, it mentions that the question mark icon on the map represents metal knuckle and cat food items. This page is all about the Stage vs. Capella boss fight in Bomberman 64. It introduces Capella as the very first boss, noting that while she looks cute, she's actually quite strong, and you can't underestimate her. She's described as attacking in 3 directions with fire and powerful bombs. The page emphasizes collecting items and preparing well before challenging her. The section, "Fire Attack is Not Scary," details how to handle Capella's fire attacks. It explains that Capella mainly attacks with fire when you get close, but if you keep your distance, she'll shoot fire in 3 directions. The advice is to stay away from her. Place bombs strategically to avoid getting hit by fire, and that direct bomb hits will deal damage. It also notes that if you get hit by her fire, it's not fatal, so don't be too worried. The gold card acquisition conditions list steps to get a gold card, essentially a perfect victory. 1. Stun Capella with a bomb. 2. Hit Capella with a bomb's fire. 3. Hit Capella with a bomb while jumping. 4. Defeat Capella with fire damage, making sure she doesn't fall off the stage. And 5. Defeat her within 20,000 time units. The Keep Bomb Throwing Distance and Wait for a Chance section gives visual tips with screenshots. It advises creating a safe bomb placement area with cards, then launching fire bombs at Capella when she's in the air, and finally, when hitting Capella with fire damage, to position bombs near her to finish her off. This page is a guide for Stage 4 of Bomberman 64 on the Nintendo 64, titled, "Use Charged Bombs to Push Forward." It explains the level mechanics, which are similar to Stage 1, but the challenge lies in reaching the goal. The guide instructs players to first locate a switch in Map 3 to lower the water level. Once the water is down, players should return to Map 1 and use charged bombs to destroy a wall marked with the Altail symbol. This action will shift the waterways and create a path towards the goal. The guide also warns players about enemy cannon fire, advising them to proceed cautiously to avoid getting hit. Tips at the bottom highlight that items become accessible after lowering the water level by using the switch in Map 3, and to be mindful of cannon shadows and use charged bombs strategically. The map diagram shows the stage layout, and the question mark symbol on the map indicates Bash. This page is a guide for a puzzle in Bomberman 64 in Map 3, focusing on how to manipulate a waterway using charged bombs. The instructions explain that after lowering the water level in Map 3, you need to go downstairs and use charged bombs to push a specific wall of the waterway. This wall is marked with an Altair symbol. By hitting this marked wall 3 times with the explosion of charged bombs, the waterway will be pushed back to its original position, revealing the path to the goal. The guide also mentions that power bombs can also be used to push the wall if making charged bombs is inconvenient, suggesting players might want to acquire power bombs beforehand. The screenshots show Bomberman throwing charged bombs at the wall, and the waterway shifting with each explosion until the goal is accessible. On the map section shown, question mark symbol is linked to the Neko suit, cat suit. This page is focused on Bomberman 64's story mode, specifically Map 3. It appears to be a guide on how to solve a puzzle involving water and switches. The page highlights a gameplay mechanic where players need to use a switch to stop the flow of water. Instructions mention using a power bomb to create a bridge to reach the switch. Activating the switch stops the water and also lowers the water level in Map 2. The question mark on the map indicates the location of the cat suit as a reward. The text at the top in yellow says Story Mode and Map 3. The instruction box in red at the bottom left prompts, press the switch to stop the water. This page is a strategy guide focused on defeating the boss Leviathan, also known as Ribaya in Japanese, from Stage 4 of Bomberman 64. Leviathan is described as the ruler of the underground waterways in the Blue Resort stage. The guide highlights the importance of the attack order to obtain a gold card. To get the gold card, players need to fulfill specific conditions in battle. Throw a bomb into Leviathan's mouth, char the tip of its tentacle and tail fin black with fire, and reduce its raft down to a single section. All of this must be done while defeating Leviathan within 25,000 time units. The page provides a step-by-step visual guide with screenshots showing the process of achieving these conditions to secure the gold card, offering tips for each stage of the battle. This page details the Red Mountain area from the game. It's described as a dangerous world, starting from a sea of lava and heading into the heart of a volcano. Players need to stay alert as they navigate through erupting volcanoes and speeding minecarts, with no room for carelessness. The page introduces several enemies found in Red Mountain. First is Bick, who wanders around swinging a pickaxe when approached. Next is Komorin, a resident of Red Mountain who flies high in the sky and doesn't attack. Then there's Rock, which appears to be just a rock but will breathe fire if disturbed during its nap. Red Zone creatures prefer darkness and will drop from the ceiling to attack intruders. Finally, Tarako are guards riding minecarts who are tough to defeat, requiring either a standard bomb or a power bomb. The next page features Bomberman 64, titled Through the Volcanic Bullet Storm, and focuses on stage navigation. It advises players that while they can reach the goal via MAP2 or MAP3, MAP3 is recommended for safety and time efficiency. The page suggests aiming to clear the stage quickly and obtain a gold card 5. It mentions a recommended route for players. The text warns that in this stage, fire bullets will rain down from above. It describes a Doki Doki mode, activating at 5 seconds remaining, and advises players to run immediately when they see the circular shadow of the falling fire bullets. The page then highlights power bombs to open doors and get items. The screenshots show gameplay tips: using a power bomb's explosion to hit flames, using bombs inside furnace or kiln-like structures to light up rooms, and getting items by breaking rocks in red zones while being careful. The map shows a section of the stage with start and map points, question mark icons, and numbered icons labeled metal googles. This page is about Bomberman 64, focusing on Map 2 of the story mode. The page gives gameplay tips for this level, highlighting 2 key points. Firstly, it explains how to use the power bomb item to knock down rocks and create a bridge to progress to Map 3. Secondly, it warns players to be careful of the lava, specifically pointing out the geysers that erupt from the grates below. The guide advises players to time their movements carefully to avoid getting hit by the lava plumes, and to consider getting a heart power-up for extra protection in this area. The page also points out a hidden item in the back of a room and instructs the player to get a power bomb to open the door and retrieve it. Screenshots show gameplay examples of these tips in action. This page displays walkthrough maps for what appears to be an action-adventure game, specifically sections labeled MAP 3 inches and MAP 4. The maps are rendered in a top-down perspective and depict lava-themed environments with stone platforms and paths. Map 4 features a zoomed-in section with gameplay screenshots and text instructions. The text in the speech bubble advises the player to go to get power through the left side. The screenshots demonstrate gameplay in this lava level, showing the player character navigating platforms while avoiding lava and using bombs. One text box highlights, "Rock is not present on the left," suggesting a safe path. Another box mentions, "Gold is blown out from the money pot. Be careful of the molten rock," indicating a hazard and advising caution. The final text mentions, "Take the power at the rock at the end," implying a goal or reward at the end of the path. The bottom of the page shows a question mark symbol alongside =/crow, possibly indicating an enemy or item related to /crow, marked with a question mark on the map. The page number is 40. This page details gameplay tips for story mode in MAP 5 of Bomberman 64. It highlights two key puzzle mechanics. Firstly, it explains how to solve 3 lever puzzles. The guide advises players to use bombs to activate levers, but warns that these levers reset after a short time. Thus, the solution involves strategically placing bombs on 2 levers and then quickly hitting the 3rd lever with a bomb. This ensures all 3 levers are activated simultaneously before any reset, allowing players to progress and reach the goal. Secondly, the page describes how to reveal items by dropping bombs from above. It instructs players to use a bomb kick from an elevated platform and to stop immediately to drop the bomb accurately onto a specific rock formation below. After the bomb explodes, an item will appear, which players can collect by carefully jumping down while avoiding falling into the lava. The guide uses screenshots to clearly illustrate these techniques within the game. This page is about Stage 2, vs. Hout, from Bomberman 64. The page introduces the boss character Hout, described as a masked swordsman and a master of shock barriers and throws. The stage is set on a lava-floating field. It warns players to be very careful of Hout's shock barrier, as being thrown out of bounds results in an instant loss. If stunned, players are advised to quickly recover by rotating the stick. The page then focuses on shock barrier precautions, suggesting players should use bombs to attack while evading the shock barrier to clear the stage. For gold card acquisition, players should aim for the following conditions. 1. Defeat Hout by hitting him with a fully charged bomb to stun him. 2. Hit Hout with a fully charged bombs explosion. 3. Touch the shock barrier. 4. Defeat Hout by hitting him with fire, without falling off the stage. 5. Defeat Hout within 20,000 time limit. The screenshots illustrate gameplay tips. One shows using charged bombs to attack Hout while staying away from the shock barrier. Another shows the shock of the barrier launching a bomb. The final screenshot suggests placing bombs carefully near the barrier after obtaining cards 13 to deliver the final blow. Finally, the page advises, don't be careless even after defeating him. It warns that fire will erupt in all directions after defeating Hout, and that players should not carelessly approach the center to avoid being hit by the fire. This page is from a Bomberman 64 guide, focusing on Stage 4, Break with Bombs 4 Pillars, in story mode. The guide advises players aiming for card 5 to jump off the rails in MAP 1 and go directly to MAP 5. It explains the difference between Waku Waku mode and Doki Doki mode, noting that Doki Doki mode offers less time to collect the remote control in MAP 1. Navigating the rails without the remote control in Doki Doki mode makes achieving the target time harder. The page gives gameplay tips, mentioning that when a goto-goto sound is heard, throwing a charge bomb quickly can prevent a collision. For minecarts, quote, it's recommended to throw bombs as they approach, and remote bombs can simply be placed on the rails. When jumping off the tracks to the lowest level, adjusting the viewpoint to make it look like rails are below can improve success. The screenshot shows gameplay on a railway track in a fiery environment, with the map layout shown below indicating different areas labeled A, B, C, D, R, and Start, in MAP 1. The next page showcases a walkthrough for MAP 2 inches of Bomberman 64. The map is clearly illustrated with lettered locations and a question mark icon, which the page explains represents a silver item. Instructional text with accompanying screenshots details a gameplay strategy called air bombing at the edge of the board. This strategy involves destroying wooden boxes below to position yourself at the edge of a platform, then using remote bombs and air bombs to break wooden boxes above to collect falling items. A Bomberman character illustration is also included on the page. The next page is a guide for Bomberman 64's story mode, specifically MAP 3. The title states, 4 switches and Gold Card 1 appear. The text explains that in the dangerous area where boulders roll, there are 4 switches. If you step on all of them, Gold Card 1 will appear. It directs the player to start from point G. The text then details that even after entering MAP 3, thorns block the switches. To get the card, the player needs to first go through E in MAP 1. The screenshots illustrate the steps. 1. Showing Bomberman moving forward while avoiding boulders. 2. Pressing a switch. Quote. 3. Pressing another switch after moving through a wooden box area. Quote. 4. Finally, pressing the last switch, indicated by an arrow, to obtain the Gold Card 1. The page is giving a step-by-step walkthrough for a puzzle involving switches and obtaining a gold card in Bomberman 64's Story Mode Map 3. This page provides gameplay hints for Bomberman 64. The guide focuses on 2 key tactics: using power to open doors and utilizing power bombs to navigate rails in reverse. The first tip explains how to obtain power by breaking wooden boxes and then using stairs near the point F to progress. The second tip details how to reverse the direction of minecart rails using power bombs, which is necessary to collect items. It advises players to kick power bombs while moving along the rails. Furthermore, the guide explains that hitting a door with the flames from a power bomb will open it, leading to a room containing the Neko shoes, cat shoes, item. It also mentions breaking containers along the rails to obtain items, and that players will be safe from minecarts if they stay beside the tracks. The page includes screenshots illustrating these tips, and a map of the level indicating points of interest marked as and P, and the location G. The next page introduces Map 5 of the story mode in Bomberman 64. The objective of this map is to destroy the 4 pillars and drop the ceiling. The guide explains that you will use a long staircase to reach the highest level of rails. From there, you ride a minecart in the direction it is going. Follow the minecart tracks, descend stairs along the way, and head towards the narrow path. Once you reach the front of the goal, use bombs to destroy the 4 pillars. This will cause the ceiling to collapse, creating a path to the goal. The page highlights to place bombs on top of the rails and proceed with the minecart. Be careful of enemy attacks while riding the minecart. The guide also notes that destroying the pillars will make the goal appear, advising players not to fall off the minecart at the end. Silver coins are also present in this level, indicated by the question mark symbol. This page is about Stage 4 of Bomberman 64, titled Hayote's Revenge, featuring the boss Spriggan. Spriggan is Hayote piloting a combat mech, described as having powerful attacks and being a formidable opponent. To get a gold card in this stage, you need to fulfill 5 conditions: destroy the right arm, destroy the left arm, destroy the hat, throw a bomb into the hatch, and defeat Spriggan within 12,000 points on Waku Waku, or 13,000 points on Doki Doki difficulty. The page highlights Spriggan's diverse attacks, but reassures players not to be intimidated. The strategy is to focus on destroying Spriggan's arms first, as this limits its attacks to fireballs and 2 types of lasers. A key moment to attack is after the Megaton Punch and Hyper Lariat attacks, providing an opportunity to damage the arms. When Spriggan uses Laser 2, throw a bomb into the hatch on top of its head to open it and inflict damage. The page then lists and briefly describes Spriggan's 6 main attacks: Megaton Punch, Laser 1, moving across the stage; Hyper Lariat, use bombs underneath; Fireball, watch the shadow to evade; Laser 2, aim for the head when it moves horizontally; and Hatch Counterattack, throw bombs when the hatch opens for damage. This page is titled White Ice and introduces a freezing level in a game, describing it as a place of bitter cold where your body freezes. It mentions snowy mountains and ice flows, and warns that the ice floors are slippery. Featured are descriptions of enemies you will encounter. First is the snowman, who throws snowballs. It is said to be slow-moving, so you can defeat it from afar with a bomb kick. Next is Yuki Usagi, the snow rabbit, which sometimes drops hearts when defeated. It is described as harmless, so you might feel sorry for defeating it. Then there's Pen Pen, a penguin that playfully chases you on the ice. It's described as being somewhat annoying, but cute. Finally, there is Freezy Adai, a strange creature that looks like a walking frozen mandarin orange. If you damage it, it splits into two smaller mandarin oranges. At the bottom right, the snowboard soldier is described. These enemies come sliding down slopes on snowboards. They can't be defeated, so you have to move left and right to avoid them. This page is a guide for Stage 1 of Bomberman 64, named Don't Give In to the Snowstorm. It describes that in Map 1, there are different routes to reach the goal. Map 2 is suggested for a safer route, whereas Map 3 is for those aiming to save time. However, be cautious of snowstorms in Maps 2 and 3, especially in the more challenging Doki Doki mode. Falling into pits will send you back to Map 1. The guide explains how to progress by triggering avalanches. Place a bomb near a snow wall and quickly move away to avoid the avalanche. Once the avalanche has occurred, you can climb up the newly created path. This action will remove a wall, allowing you to advance to Area A. The text also reminds players to look for hidden rooms along the way. Screenshots demonstrate the avalanche process and the snowy level setting. A map of Map 1 is shown, highlighting the starting point, areas A and B, and a question mark symbol indicating the location of metal armor. This page from a Bomberman 64 guide showcases Map 2 of the story mode and focuses on gameplay tips and item locations. The page highlights using trees for movement in Doki Doki mode, explaining that you can use them to stop in areas with strong winds. The guide points out 4 hidden item locations on Map 2. The first hint shows Waku Waku card, 2 inches, being located deep within a narrow path at the foot of something. The second hint, for Doki Doki card 2 inches, mentions it is in a hidden room behind a wall. The third hint describes an item, likely a remote control, found by falling onto snow. Finally, the last hint indicates another item is located deep inside after destroying a small house. The top of the page shows an overview map of Map 2 with points of interest marked, including a question mark labeled Metal Armor. The page serves as a helpful guide to navigate and find secrets within this Bomberman 64 level. This page is a game strategy guide for Bomberman 64. It shows a map of a level, labeled as Map 3, highlighting areas marked with numbers, letters, and question marks. The page focuses on gameplay tips. One section titled, Timing Well, Explode the Tree, advises players to wait for the wind to subside before detonating bombs near trees. This allows for strategic bomb placement and obtaining power-ups hidden within the trees. It also mentions that blowing snow will then reopen the path ahead. Another section, titled Remaining Items Are Here, details the locations of hidden items in the level. It points out that in Waku Waku mode Stage 3, the car is located at the end of a narrow path. It also mentions that a kokeko, likely a collectible or item, is hidden inside a room within the wall. Furthermore, it says that kokeko will appear if flowers are exploded inside a room, and that the remote control item is located somewhere in the snow, but its exact location is undetermined. The next page is a guide for Level 4 of Bomberman 64. The text explains that you need to destroy a house to access a switch. Once the switch is activated, a goal will appear, but you should first grab the item that becomes available. To reach a separate small island, you need to move along a diagonal walkway from the house roof. The instructions detail how to use bombs to clear obstacles and reach the goal. The screenshots illustrate gameplay moments within this level, showing Bomberman navigating the icy terrain and using bombs. The map at the bottom right shows the level layout, with the player's path marked in red, leading to the GOAL. There are tips provided in speech bubbles, such as using bomb kicks to move bombs closer to the house, and how to obtain items after bombing the house from the roof and jumping to a smaller island. This page is about the Stage 2 boss fight against Regulus in Bomberman 64. It describes Regulus as a foe who favors speed and ramming attacks, suggesting players experience his chaotic fighting style. The strategy detailed here is to keep your distance and use power bombs, as Regulus isn't aggressive. Maintaining distance will provoke him into wandering, using bomb kicks, or erratic dashes. When he does these actions, it's the perfect time to hit him with power bombs to secure victory. To get a gold card, you need to defeat him using power bombs, hit him with fire from the power bombs, land a bomb kick during his chaotic dash, defeat him with fire without falling off the stage, and beat him within 20,000 times. The screenshots illustrate keeping your distance to throw power bombs and highlight that when Regulus's body shines, he's about to do his chaotic dance, making it easier to land powerbomb hits. For fire attacks, it's recommended to use weak bombs from the same distance as power bombs. Finally, the guide advises adjusting your throwing strength for power bombs depending on the distance. This page is a guide for Stage 3, Slippery Ice Floor, from Bomberman 64's Story Mode. It mentions that while Stage 3 has 2 routes, to reach the goal in MAP 4, players need to activate switches. The recommended path to clear the stage involves moving through MAP 1 greater than 2 greater than 4 to hit the switches, then returning to MAP 3, proceeding through MAP 2, and finally back to MAP 1 to reach the goal. The guide warns that the ice floor is slippery and the camera perspective might change, which can lead to errors, but the map itself is straightforward. It includes advice stating, "Impatience is forbidden, move slowly and carefully," because the floor is slippery in MAPs 1, 2, and 3, making it hard to stop if you run. It suggests moving slowly, except when going for card 5. It also cautions that kicked bombs will also slide, so players should be mindful of enemy positions and try to stop bombs early. The page features screenshots and a map of the stage, labeled MAP1, visually representing the level layout. This page is a guide for Bomberman 64, focusing on Map 2. The page displays a map of the level with points of interest marked with letters and question marks. It seems to be a narrow corridor-style map with small crystalline trees and floating crystal objects. There are gameplay tips on the page. One tip advises players to frequently switch viewpoints in narrow paths for easier navigation. Another section explains that in Maps 2 and 3, the viewpoint is from the back of the floor. It mentions that if you tilt the stick in a direction, Bomberman will move in the direction indicated by the arrow, but it's actually the opposite of what you might expect from the visual perspective. It advises players to confirm their direction of travel before moving to avoid confusion. The page shows directional arrows indicating down, left, right, and up, clarifying the reversed controls due to the perspective. This page is from a guide for Bomberman 64. It highlights gameplay tips for Stage 3 and focuses on the objective, take the remote and counterattack. The page features 2 screenshots showing Bomberman in a 3D environment. The first screenshot instructs the player to proceed along a narrow path to obtain the remote control. The second screenshot explains that by using this remote control, the player can easily defeat the Gangan enemies and obtain Card 4. Below the screenshots is a map labeled MAP 3. The map outlines a level layout with locations marked R, 2, D, and B, presumably indicating points of interest or objectives within the stage. The page is providing guidance on how to progress through this particular stage in Bomberman 64. This page of the Bomberman 64 guide focuses on gameplay tips within MAP 4. The first section instructs players on how to obtain items by using Bomb Kick to launch a bomb onto an ice block from above, breaking it to reveal an item. It then advises players to jump to the higher platform, ensuring they don't get lost. The page also highlights how to navigate icy slopes using momentum. It explains that on icy slopes, players should build up speed and use the control stick to maintain balance. Failing to do so will result in falling into a hole. Correctly using the stick to the right while running up the slope will activate a switch and allow Bomberman to reach a platform. A map section indicates locations of interest marked with question marks and a C marker, revealing one of the question marks corresponds to metal sneakers. This page is a strategy guide for the Shining Monster boss fight against Ripper in Bomberman 64. Ripper is described as a giant crab boss with scythe attacks, bomb attacks, and quick movements. The guide offers advice on how to defeat Ripper, emphasizing hiding near its feet to avoid scythe attacks. It suggests using power bombs to destroy Ripper's arms, making it vulnerable. For quick downward attacks, running in any direction is recommended. Small bomb attacks are mentioned as easy to dodge. The gold card entry conditions table outlines the steps to get a gold card. 1. Destroy the right arm. 2. Destroy the left arm. 3. Destroy the mask. 4. Chase Ripper to the lower floor. 5. Defeat with Waku Waku difficulty within 12,000 time. Or Doki Doki difficulty within 15,000 time. The guide further explains that after destroying both arms, Ripper will move to the lower floor, where holes appear. Players are advised to be careful not to fall and to pay attention to the direction of escape. The screenshots illustrate the strategies described: hiding under Ripper, using power bombs to destroy arms, and attacking from behind to target the mask and body. It mentions that after destroying the mask and body from behind, you can inflict damage with bombs. When Ripper moves to the lower level after arm destruction, it becomes an opportunity for attack, but players should be mindful of falling into the holes. The next page is another Bomberman 4 Coma manga strip, titled Aim for the Gap. This one is about the Tame Bomb, or Charged Bomb, a gameplay mechanic in Bomberman 64. In the first panel, Bomberman is trying to squeeze through a narrow gap, saying, "This gap is suspicious." He is mumbling and struggling to fit. The second panel introduces the Tame Bomb. The text explains that by storing power, you can throw a larger and more powerful bomb. Bomberman is seen powering up a bomb. The third panel shows Bomberman using the charged bomb. The text says, "That's it," and describes how the power is up and the bomb's destructive power is increased. The door explodes with a large "go go go" sound effect. The fourth panel depicts Bomberman being scolded by another Bomberman character, likely White Bomberman. The text says, "No manners," and Red Bonshin should be more gentle. Red Bomberman is surprised and exclaims, "EH!" The final panel shows Red Bomberman being reprimanded further, and the text says, "What are you doing?" and "I told you!" It seems Red Bomberman used the powerful bomb in an inappropriate situation, likely inside a house, causing damage when he was only supposed to open a door. The humor comes from the over-the-top solution for a simple gap or door. This page highlights Black City, which is described as a spaceship fortress floating in the sky above 4 worlds. The mission is to penetrate its heavily guarded interior, overcome numerous obstacles, and reach the altar at the top to achieve victory. The page then details different enemy characters found within Black City. Green units are Commander-class soldiers, equipped with long-range rifles. Hunter units are Invader Extermination Mobile Vulcans, described as mechanically zealous. Seeker units locate invaders from above and attack with downward lasers. Purple units are elite soldier invaders who approach with rocket trenchers. Finally, surprise units are usually hidden but appear in the sky to launch surprise attacks from above. This page showcases Stage 7 of Bomberman 64, titled Shomen Topa, which translates to Front Breakthrough. The page provides gameplay advice for this stage. It mentions that while the path to the goal is straight, players must navigate against the road's direction, which can be tricky and prone to mistakes. The advice suggests adjusting the camera to a wide view for better visibility. The page recommends obtaining Card 4 and using Map 1 to help navigate. It highlights a spot called Vulcan Cannon Stand as a good place to defeat enemies easily without being attacked. It also warns that in Map 6, near the goal, a powerful enemy group, the Surprise Attack Unit, will appear and advises players to stay vigilant until the very end. The page includes a top-down map of the level showing the layout, start and goal positions, and key points marked as A and B. A small screenshot from the game shows the in-game perspective of a section of the stage with Bomberman and enemies. This page from a Bomberman 64 guide focuses on Map 2 inches and how to overcome obstacles called Kiboma, holes or gaps, using panels and bomb jumps. The map overview highlights locations A, B, C, and D. The guide explains that simply walking forward is impossible due to the holes, so players need to use panels in the air to move. However, it suggests that for Card 5 inches targets, bomb jumps are more efficient. The text in the blue box labeled "Bomb Jump is also okay" elaborates on this, stating that while bomb kicking is a dangerous method for crossing holes and should be avoided normally, bomb jumps offer a quicker way to traverse them, especially when aiming for Card 5. The screenshots illustrate gameplay scenarios where Bomberman is using panels to cross gaps and performing bomb jumps. The guide concludes by advising players to proceed in the same manner for the levels ahead. The next page showcases a map for Bomberman 64, specifically MAP 3. The map is marked with letters E, F, C, and D, indicating different zones. Below the map there is a red box titled, "If you stop, you'll be a target of the gun." This section warns players about stopping in certain areas. It advises caution as spotlight beams appear, and Vulcan cannons will target you. The text suggests that if you stop moving, you will be attacked relentlessly. It emphasizes the need to keep moving forward without stopping, or you will become an easy target. The screenshots illustrate this point by showing the spotlight beams and the Vulcan cannon enemy in action. This page showcases maps for the story mode of Bomberman 64. It presents two-level layouts, labeled MAP4 and MAP5. These maps display the structure of the levels with various icons, letters like E, F, G, H, and symbols, including a question mark and a drill arm icon. The key at the bottom indicates that the drill arm symbol represents a drill arm pickup within the game. These are level guides to help players navigate through the stages of Bomberman 64's story mode. The next page details the strategy for Map 6 of Bomberman 64, titled Power Up and Break Through the Defense Line. The page advises players to power up before engaging the defense forces in the wide open area. It's recommended to have maximum firepower and remote control bombs. The page shows gameplay screenshots and provides tips. It explains how to use bomb kicks in the center to break through the defense, emphasizing the importance of strong firepower. Players should lure enemies to the center and then attack the left and right platforms. Another tip explains to wait at the edge of the field when the platforms at both ends glow blue, indicating an enemy attack, and to dodge the incoming projectiles. This page is focused on Stage 2, Killing Time, of Bomberman 64. Featuring the boss enemy called Absolute. Absolute is described as a formidable welcoming machine in Alltale Tower, armed with a variety of weapons including missiles, lasers, machine guns, and gravity bombs. While it attacks relentlessly, the guide points out that there are plenty of opportunities to counterattack, emphasizing that defeating Absolute is necessary to progress into the tower. The page offers gameplay tips, starting with a strategy called Wall-Side Bomb Kick. This tactic suggests attacking from a distance using bomb kicks, because getting too close to Absolute is risky. It advises players to move horizontally to dodge Vulcan cannons, lasers, and missiles. For homing missiles, the recommendation is to move close to a wall to evade them. Gravity bombs can be destroyed with your own bombs. There are also gold card acquisition conditions, which are essentially challenges to achieve during the boss fight to earn a gold card. These include destroying Absolute's right arm, left arm, the machine's tip, and destroying gravity bombs. The final condition is to defeat Absolute within 10,000 time in Waku Waku, exciting mode, or within 12,000 time in Doki Doki, heart-pounding mode. The guide mentions that slower movement makes the fight harder, and advises players to escape quickly if they take damage to avoid being caught. Another tip highlighted is aim for the tip and explode early, suggesting that detonating bombs aimed at Absolute's tip will inflict greater damage to its main body, leading to a faster defeat. The page includes screenshots of Bomberman facing off against Absolute. Accompanying text boxes with arrows explain visual gameplay cues. One tip mentions that when Absolute fires homing missiles, players should move and stick to a wall to avoid them. Another tip clarifies that kicked bombs travel in the direction Bomberman is facing, serving as a visual guide for aiming kicks. This page is about Stage 3 of Bomberman 64, known as Alltale Tower. It describes the stage as a multi-layered tower, where players use power switches to activate floors and elevators to ascend. It warns players about lasers acting as hazards, and suggests being cautious. The guide states the shortest route to the goal is through maps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 10. Maps 6 to 9 are noted to only contain items, and can be skipped if players are aiming for card 5, implying it's related to game completion or secrets. The page includes gameplay screenshots demonstrating the switch and elevator mechanics and laser avoidance. A map of MAP1 is provided, outlining the stage layout and locations of the start, goal, and items. This page of the Bomberman 64 guidebook is focused on providing gameplay tips for MAP2. It details 3 key mechanics players will encounter. Firstly, it explains the green panels and alarm system. It advises players that stepping on the second switch activates an alarm, but progressing by following the movement of the green panels is safe. If players make a mistake, stepping on the second switch again will deactivate the alarm. Secondly, the guide explains how to use elevators. From Elevator A, players should proceed straight ahead to activate a switch. For the return trip, They need to navigate through a rising floor to reach elevator B, while being cautious of active lasers. Finally, the page covers bomb jumps. It instructs players to use a power bomb and a normal bomb at a specific location, and then utilize bomb kicks to create a path to proceed. Screenshots are used throughout to visually demonstrate these gameplay techniques. This page is from a Bomberman 64 guide and focuses on Map 3, specifically guiding players through a section involving elevators and bomb jumps. The title translates to "Jump Down and to Another Elevator." Highlighting the core mechanic of this section, the instructions advise players that to reach MAP 6, they should jump down from a specific location in MAP 3. It also explains that by holding the stick down while falling, players can land safely at the intended spot. Furthermore, the guide instructs players to use a bomb jump to overcome a dent or obstacle, and then proceed from elevator C to elevator E to progress further in the level. The page includes screenshots to visually demonstrate these instructions within the game. At the bottom of the page are character artworks of Bomberman and other Bomberman characters that are featured in the game. The next page is a guide for Bomberman 64's story mode, specifically for Map 4, which is called Animal Slip. The page provides instructions on how to reach the elevator by activating switches in a specific order: 2, then 4, then 1. It explains that pressing switch 2 makes the floor appear, allowing you to proceed. Switch 4 needs to be activated while avoiding lasers along the way. Finally, switch 1 is the last one, which will open the path to the F elevator. It also mentions that after passing the crossroads and turning left, the next corner will be facing you, and you should proceed to the right. Another section details how to use bombs to get parts, by destroying containers and waiting for the parts to fall. Additionally, the guide explains the movement of green panels, stating that switch 3 controls them, and you need to move according to their pattern. It also mentions that if you are sent back to MAP 1 from Area G, ignoring the panels is also an option. This page is a guide for Bomberman 64, focusing on how to obtain the sunglasses item in Map 4. The guide states that to get the sunglasses, you need to navigate a complex procedure. It highlights that you need to have at least 7 bombs available to successfully acquire the sunglasses. The page uses screenshots and text to provide step-by-step instructions. The instructions are as follows. 1. Press switches 2 and 4. The guide indicates that after pressing switches 2 and 4, you must then press switch 3, 2. At the crossroads, turn right. After turning right at the crossroads, proceed straight to the designated location. Quote, 3. Throw 4 bombs from this position to cross to the opposite side. This step is to create a path to the other side. 4. Continue with normal bombs and then power bombs to create steps. This refers to strategically placing bombs to build a staircase or path. Quote, 5. Break the containers to obtain the sunglasses, the concrete. The guide shows that destroying the container will reveal the sunglasses item. 6. Use the elevator near elevator H and ride elevator F on the opposite side. This step describes using elevators to reach the platform where the sunglasses are located, and then use another elevator to progress further. 7. To trike. Finally, use a bomb kick to drop a bomb in front of you. This final step suggests using the bomb kick ability to complete the path and acquire the sunglasses. The page provides visual aids and concise instructions to help players obtain the sunglasses item in Bomberman 64. This page is a guide for Bomberman 64, focusing on stage navigation and specifically how to return to previous areas using elevators. It mentions that after MAP 3, you should use the elevator to go upwards. It also explains that to return to MAP 7, you should ride the elevator. The page shows diagrams for MAP 6 and MAP 7, highlighting key locations marked with letters E, F, L, J in MAP 6 and J, K, L, M in MAP 7 to assist players in navigating these stages using the elevator system described. There are also screenshots showcasing in-game views related to the elevator instructions. The next page is a guide for Bomberman 64 level navigation, specifically focusing on obtaining an item and using elevators in Map 8 and Map 9 areas. The guide first instructs on getting an item by stepping on Switch 2. Starting from Elevator M, go straight and activate Switch 2. Then return. Avoid the stairs and instead take the newly appeared floor to reach the item which is inside a container. Be cautious of enemies nearby when collecting the item. The page then explains how to access Elevator N, which connects to Map 9 and is located beneath a transparent floor. To reach it, step on Switch 2, which will make the floor disappear, allowing you to descend the stairs and access Elevator N. The elevator location can be difficult to see, so players are advised to be careful not to fall. Initially, the path to Elevator N is blocked by a floor, requiring players to first activate a switch to proceed. This page shows guide information for Bomberman 64. It displays map layouts for story mode levels MAP 9 and MAP 10. For MAP 9, the text above the screenshots translates to, "Destroy the blocks with timed bombs." There are 3 screenshots showing gameplay in MAP 9. The text under the screenshots gives instructions. Throw timed bombs towards the barrier. Once destroyed, proceed to the back. While carrying a container, head to the goal. There are enemies, so be careful. The goal is in the back. After this, it will be a good battle against Altile. MAP 10 shows a more complex level layout with multiple layers and boxes. The red arrows indicate the path to the goal. Both maps show the start and goal locations. This page is a strategy guide for the boss fight against Altair in Bomberman 64. The guide explains that Altair and Vega will attack together, and the player needs to use bombs to defeat them. The Bomb Kick strategy section details how to defeat Altair by using bombs to inflict damage and cause a Kizetsu state, likely meaning a stunned or weakened state. It mentions getting a card if you successfully use this strategy. Altair will run away if there are more than 3 bombs nearby, or if a bomb explodes, so quick action is needed. The guide lists 5 conditions to obtain a gold card during this fight. Quote, 1. Defeat Altair within 10,000 Waku Waku points and 8,000 Doki Doki points, likely in-game point/time metrics. 2. After combining, likely with Vega, defeat Altair in a Kizetsu state with a bomb. 3. After combining, defeat Altair in a Kizetsu state with bombfire. 4. After combining, defeat Altair in a Kizetsu state with bombfire, without falling off the stage. 5. Defeat Altair within 20,000 time points. The text also suggests inducing Kizetsu, and then hitting Altair with bombfire for a good strategy. If aiming for a card, beam attacks or whoop out, likely a specific move, right after Kizetsu, are good opportunities. The attack during Kizetsu with bombs section emphasizes hitting Altair with bombs when he is stunned. The screenshots illustrate placing a bomb to stun Altair and then kicking another bomb at him while he is stunned to inflict damage. This page is focused on the Rainbow Palace stage in Bomberman 64. The text describes the setting after peace is restored, but a true enemy has appeared. Bomberman must retrieve the cosmic cubes from the Sky Palace to resolve the situation. The page introduces several enemy characters found in this stage. Part King. This enemy is described as not showing its true form until defeated, at which point it drops items appropriate to its appearance. Spade Knight, a powerful trooper who attacks by releasing strong beams. Dia Soldier, a standard soldier in the Diamond Army. Club Fighter. This enemy attacks by throwing and swinging a club, and will relentlessly chase after Bomberman. Bell Ghost, Air Ghost. This ghost floats around in the air and sometimes drops thunderbolts. It can be defeated with a sky bomb. Screenshots show gameplay featuring these different enemies in the Rainbow Palace stage. This page is a guide for Stage 1 of Bomberman 64, titled Beyond the Sky. It advises players that to obtain items, they will need to navigate floating islands using bombs. The guide stresses the importance of checking photos to determine the path forward. It mentions acquiring the remote control item is essential, and that players should immediately move to MAP 2 after starting. It also warns about pillars hiding enemies and being cautious of fire. The page then breaks down specific techniques for navigating the stage from a high switch platform to obtain items. These techniques include dealing with enemies and pillars. Use bomb kicks to clear enemies and pillars obstructing the path. Bombing ground obstacles. Use timed bombs to destroy ground obstacles, requiring about 3 timed bombs. Bomb jumping. Basic. Throw a bomb in front and use it for a bomb jump to cross gaps. Block corner bombing. Stand at the corner of blocks and throw bombs to destroy them. Pivots. Dealing with strong winds. Use a power card 1 for sky bombing to avoid being blown away in strong winds. Bombing near stone pillars. After crossing, use bombs to destroy pillars, being careful not to get caught in the blast. Screen edge bomb jump. Stand at the edge of the screen to perform a bomb jump. Continuous bomb kicks. After bombing, immediately stop and start bomb jumping to continue moving. Double bomb jump. Throw 2 timed bombs and use them for a bomb jump, landing safely on the ground. Advanced bomb jump and stick control. After bomb jumping to a higher platform, push the stick to descend to the ground. The guide section titled, "Don't Let Your Guard Down on the Way Back," reminds players to check for items on the return path. It emphasizes caution, stating that mistakes could lead to being unable to retrieve items. It reinforces using screen edge bomb jumps on the way back, and advises moving to the right using bomb jumps. This page provides a walkthrough guide for Bomberman 64's story mode, focusing on how to clear a stage by activating switches to reveal the goal. The guide uses a series of screenshots and text instructions to explain the process. The instructions detail using bomb kick to move bombs and strategically place them. One step involves using a charged bomb throw, power bomb ends 2 inches, to hit a switch located below. Another instruction highlights using beyond jump to reach higher switches. Finally, the guide explains that by placing bombs correctly near switches, the goal will appear, allowing the player to proceed. Below the instructions, a map of the level is shown, marked with start and goal, and locations labeled P80 and P81, possibly indicating page references for more detailed information about those areas. A duck head icon with question marks is also present, likely representing a character or game element related to the walkthrough. The page number is 79, and it seems to be part of a larger guide indicated by the MAP 1-inch label. This page is a walkthrough guide for Bomberman 64, focusing on a specific level section titled P79 MAP1, and the objective, move to the floating island starting from the switch. The guide uses screenshots and text instructions to explain how to navigate through a series of floating platforms using Bomberman's abilities. The instructions cover various techniques, such as using a bomb to activate a switch at the starting point, utilizing normal and charged bombs to trigger switches and move platforms. Quote, performing bomb jumps to reach higher platforms or cross gaps, using charged bombs strategically to place them on specific locations, sometimes as a bridge. Adjusting camera angles for better positioning, dealing with enemies strategically using bombs. The guide also includes a section for the return journey, suggesting using charged bombs as a bridge to get back. It emphasizes careful bomb placement and timing for successful navigation, and encourages the player to consider alternative routes if they struggle with the intended path. This page is a guide for level P79 MAP1 in Bomberman 64 titled, A Little Detour Just Before the Goal. It provides step-by-step instructions with screenshots on how to navigate a puzzle section. The first steps show Bomberman using weak bombs and bomb kicks to move a bomb to the left. Then, it explains to position Bomberman at the edge to throw a weak bomb. Next, it shows moving slightly to the right and throwing 2 strong bombs. The sequence concludes with initiating a bomb jump and quickly releasing the stick. Further instructions detail using bomb kicks and weak bomb throws to reach the goal. It mentions throwing a weak bomb when returning. Another step highlights getting an item from the edge of a platform, and lastly, using a bomb to destroy a platform edge and obtain an item. The bottom section, points to keep in mind when throwing bombs to the back, advises players on using bomb kicks to create a path to the stone pillars. It suggests moving to the side of the pillars, throwing the bomb used earlier, and detonating it to get an item. It emphasizes not detonating the bomb prematurely. This page details the strategy for defeating the Stage 2 boss in Bomberman 64, called Master, who is described as a cowardly opponent. Master uses tarot cards and various bomb attacks, hiding and moving erratically. To defeat him, the guide recommends using tame bombs. You need to hit Master with a tame bomb to knock him to the ground. Once down, Master will drop bombs all over the field, but if you manage to hit him again with a tame bomb while he is on the ground, you can damage him. This tactic is emphasized as crucial for victory. The page also lists the conditions for getting a gold card for this stage. These are, quote, 1. Hit the mask with fire until it turns black and charred. 2. Hit the mantle with fire until it turns black and charred. 4. Catch a bomb in the shadow of his arm. 4. Don't take any items from Master. 5.
Defeat him within 20,000 time units.
The screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing Bomberman using tame bombs against Master in a checkered arena. One screenshot highlights the aftermath of a successful attack, with fire and explosions around Master. The page notes that even if you are not skilled at using tame bombs, simply placing regular bombs and dodging attacks is also a viable, though slower, method to defeat Master and clear the stage. The next page is about mastering enemy attacks to create counterattack opportunities in the game. It details strategies for dealing with different boss attacks, presented as tarot cards. For the moon attack, a giant hand comes down. Evade it by moving in a circle. The number of hands is not fixed. The justice attack involves the boss throwing bomb cards. Move horizontally relative to the boss to avoid them. The strategy here is to make bombs while dodging, and then hit the boss with a bomb when you get a chance. In the death attack, the boss uses a scythe. That range is risky, so either get close or move far away to dodge. This attack provides a good chance to strike with a bomb.
The devil attack features a shadow hand extending.
Wait for the hand to stretch out completely to the bomb, then drop a bomb and move away so the hand grabs the bomb.
During the world attack, meteorites fall from the sky.
Await hit. Avoid being hit by stopping and carefully watching where they will land.
The lover's attack has the boss spreading items and bombs everywhere.
Collecting items gets you cards, and you need 4.
It's best not to get close to the boss during this attack. The SUN attack involves flame dragons chasing you.
Run away to evade. If caught, stop, and move in a large circle to dodge.
Finally, the star attack features a giant foot stomping on Bomberman.
Avoidable.
To avoid this, you must move away from the wall at full speed. Otherwise, it's unavoidable.
This page is a strategy guide for Stage 3, Sky Castle, in Bomberman 64. The goal of this stage is to locate and activate 4 switches to make the exit appear. It advises players to carefully consider bomb placement to reach the switches and be cautious of the Speed Knight enemy, as it's quite powerful. The guide warns players not to pick up the power-up dropped by the Speed Knight because it will make bomb throwing difficult, which is needed to build stairs with bombs. The page then details how to use bombs to navigate the block sections. First, clear out any ground enemies. The guide explains that you need to create a path by arranging bombs in a straight line on the blocks, starting from the stairs near the entrance A.
By placing bombs in a row and then bomb jumping, you can move across the blocks to reach the switches. The guide shows step-by-step screenshots demonstrating how to place bombs to bomb jump up to platforms, and finally bomb jump to the switch located deep within the stage. It also mentions using power bombs to defeat enemies and trigger switches, but warns to be careful of the blast radius. The guide concludes by explaining that during a bomb jump, release the stick, implying this is part of the technique. This page is a guide for Bomberman 64. It focuses on a specific level or puzzle within the game, instructing players on how to use power bombs to proceed. The page title explains the objective is throwing 4 power bombs to the next switch. It details using power bombs strategically, first to create steps to reach a higher switch, and then to perform bomb jumps. The screenshots show gameplay, illustrating the steps. The text accompanying the screenshots explains actions such as using power bombs against blocks, throwing bombs from the same spot multiple times, changing viewpoints, and using bomb jumps. The guide also shows a mini-map indicating the start and goal positions, along with numbered switches, 1, 2, 3, and lettered areas, A, C, R, presumably marking the path and switch order. The instructions essentially walk the player through a puzzle involving power bombs to navigate the level and reach the goal, emphasizing bomb placement and bomb jumping techniques. This page is a guide for level MAP1 of Bomberman 64. The guide advises players to be careful not to destroy white blocks unnecessarily. It starts at entrance A and guides players to navigate using bombs to create paths and clear the way through the level. The instructions detail checking for enemies after moving from the starting point and using normal bombs for bomb jumps to reach higher areas and navigate across gaps. It highlights the importance of strategic bomb placement, especially mentioning using a set of 3 weak power bombs thrown slightly to the left or right of blocks to move them onto the ground, or placing timed bombs carefully for bomb jumps. The guide warns that destroying white blocks will require returning to MAP2 to regenerate them, and then re-entering MAP1. This is presented as a quicker method to reset the level if white blocks are accidentally destroyed, rather than trying to find alternative routes. The screenshots illustrate these techniques with in-game examples of bomb jumps, enemy encounters,
and block manipulation. The next page of this Bomberman 64 guide focuses on how to effectively use normal and charged bombs within Map 2 of the story mode. It gives advice on navigating across floating islands and using bomb jumps to reach items. The page explains that in Map 2, players need to cross floating islands to collect items and must be careful not to detonate bombs prematurely, as explosions can cause them to fall. It advises using charged bombs for powerful throws to create pathways, and using normal bombs for bomb jumps. The guide highlights the importance of timing bomb detonations to avoid getting caught in the blast. The page also shows a map diagram, indicating routes and item locations marked with question marks, specifying that one is a duck leg and the other a girl set. There are instructions on how to perform a bomb jump from stairs to reach items on higher platforms, emphasizing careful bomb placement to avoid falling. It points out that items are located on high platforms, suggesting bomb jumps are crucial for obtaining them, and advises quick action to collect items before falling. This page is about the final battle against Sirius in Bomberman 64. It highlights that Sirius is the strongest enemy, and players should use bombs and fire wisely, advising to have hearts ready for this last fight. The page details the strategy to defeat Sirius by dropping him off the field, noting it might take time but is a viable approach, and card the first of may help. The guide lists 5 conditions to obtain a gold card during this fight. 1. Achieve a Waku Waku score of 8,000 or a Doki Doki score within 5,000, and trigger a random event. 2. After a random event, hit Sirius with a charged bomb. 3. After another random event, hit Sirius with a charged bomb's fire. 4. Do not let Regulus die. 5. Defeat him within 10,000 time units. The page also explains that after an explosion is a good chance to attack Sirius. It advises placing bombs to corner Sirius and push him off the stage when he is vulnerable after an explosion, highlighting that being above or below him is comparatively safer in this situation. It suggests keeping Sirius in the shadow of the explosion to land hits, and using a stick to carry him to the edge of the field to throw him off. This page is about defeating the boss character Sirius in Bomberman 64. The page title is Defeat Sirius in Cooperation with Regulus. The text explains that when Sirius is driven to the edge of the field, he becomes Sirius and attacks with lasers. At this point, White Eye's bomber, known as Regulus, appears to help Bomberman. Sirius is very strong when Sirius, even with Regulus's help, and a direct hit from his special laser cannon is instantly fatal. The page gives advice on using charged bombs against Sirius during his laser attacks to obtain cards. There are 2 scenarios detailed for using charged bombs during Sirius's laser attack. When trying to defeat him with desperation, it is advised to throw a charged bomb just before Sirius finishes firing his laser. While Sirius is firing his laser, he is invincible, so hitting him directly with a bomb at this time will not work. It is suggested to use a strong throw from a distance, as weak throws might miss. When trying to hit him with fire, in this case, you should throw the bomb earlier than when trying to defeat him in desperation. The best timing is about 1 second after Sirius starts firing his laser. If you throw the bomb near Sirius, the fire should hit him, and position is not critical. The screenshots depict gameplay scenes of Bomberman fighting Sirius, with Regulus present in some images, and examples of using charged bombs at different timings during Sirius's laser attack. This page is focused on custom parts for Bomberman 64. It's an acquisition list for parts that allow you to create your very own unique Bomberman. The page encourages players to collect all the parts to personalize their Bomberman. The text explains that in the game's main menu, under the Custom Bomberman option, you can combine parts you've collected. This lets you create a Bomberman that's truly your own. These custom Bomberman can then be used in battle mode, offering a unique and personalized battle experience compared to using standard Bomberman characters. There are a total of 40 custom parts to collect in the game. The page specifically lists head parts and how to obtain them. Some examples include: the soldier helmet is available from the start. The dragon helm can be found in Green Garden 1. Metal goggles are in Red Mountain 1. The cat hood is located in Blue Resort 1. The girl set is in Rainbow Palace 3. Sunglasses are in Black City 3. The cockadoodle-doo head is in White Ice 1. There are also special head parts like the appareil, smile, and gold mask, which require collecting all the gold cards or completing the game within 3 hours in different modes. Tuesday.
The page also mentions that parts marked with an asterisk have more details on page 111. News left. The screenshot shows the custom Bomberman menu, where you can change various aspects, like name, face, body, arms, legs, and color of your Bomberman. It highlights that you can check and equip parts you've found within this menu, letting your personal style define your custom character. This page showcases the custom parts feature in Bomberman 64, allowing players to personalize their Bomberman. The page is divided into 3 sections: body, arm, and leg parts. Each section lists various equipable items alongside the requirements to unlock them, or where to find them in the game. For body parts, you start with the warrior armor. Other body parts, such as dragon mail, metal armor, cat suit, ribbon dress, duck head, and silver, are located within specific levels: Green Garden 3, White Ice 1, Blue Resort 3, Black City 3, Rainbow Palace 1, and Red Mountain 3 respectively. Special body parts like Stand Back, Karate Man, and Gold Cross are unlocked by completing specific challenges. Stand Back requires collecting all gold cards. Karate Man requires clearing any mode within 3 hours. And Gold Cross needs you to clear Doki Doki mode within 3 hours and collect all gold cards. The ARM section again begins with the default warrior arm. You can find Dragon Glove, Metal Knuckle, Cat Glove, Slash Claw, Drill Arm, and Wing Arm in Green Garden 1, Blue Resort 1, Rainbow Palace 1, Red Mountain 1, Black City 1, and White Ice 3. Special arms like Number 1 in Japan, Boxer Glove, and Gold Hand are unlocked through challenges mirroring the body parts. Number 1 in Japan needs all gold cards, Boxer Glove requires clearing any mode within 3 hours, and Gold Hand needs Doki Doki mode cleared within 3 hours and all gold cards collected. Finally, for leg parts, warrior shoes are the starting equipment. Dragon Spike, Metal Sneaker, Cat Shoes, Bash, Duck Leg, and Animal Slippers can be found in Green Garden 3, White Ice 3, Red Mountain 3, Blue Resort 3, Rainbow Palace 3, and Black City 3. The special legs, High Heel, Geta, and Gold Boots are unlocked via challenges. High Heel is for collecting all gold cards, Geta for clearing any mode within 3 hours, and Gold Boots for clearing Doki Doki mode within 3 hours and collecting all gold cards. Each section also features a Bomberman character model, visually showcasing some of these customizable parts. This page is a Bomberman 4 Coma Theater comic strip, specifically Part 3 titled Jewel. The first half is set at a hot springs, where Black Bomberman is enjoying the bath while complaining about battles. White Bomberman discovers a switch and jokingly wonders if it might let them peek into the women's bath, but it turns out to be a water gate, releasing a flood. The scene then shifts to a church for a wedding ceremony. Blue Bomberman is officiating as priest during a ring exchange, when Pink Bomberman professes love to White Bomberman, which is reciprocated. White Bomberman then presents a jewel, but suddenly Black Bomberman appears, demanding the jewel and initiating a battle, with the final panel declaring, "Battle is eternal." This page introduces Chapter 3, which is the Battle Mode Guide. It explains that the battle mode in this game has been significantly changed, with the introduction of fields that now have height differences. The guide warns players that using old strategies from previous games will no longer be effective for winning. To succeed and stand out from rivals, players are advised to learn new tactics and approaches to combat in this evolved battle mode. The page is setting the stage for the battle mode section of the guide for Bomberman 64. This page is about the battle mode in Bomberman 64. It's described as a survival rule mode for up to 4 players, creating chaotic and exciting battles. While luck can play a part, mastering techniques and experience are key to winning. The page highlights that bombs explode across the field, emphasizing the tense and unpredictable nature of the battles. The page then explains the 2 types of battle modes: single and team. Single battle is a free-for-all where individual skill is crucial and the last player standing wins. It's described as a tense mode where everyone is an enemy. Team battle involves partnering up. The team that destroys the opposing team's gem is victorious. It suggests teaming up with rivals or reliable friends to cooperate and defeat opponents, making it a fun mode with friends. This page introduces new battle modes in Bomberman 64. The first mode described is Ghost Bomber,
which allows players who are defeated to continue participating as ghosts. As a ghost, you cannot place bombs but can interfere with remaining players by pushing them around. The second mode is Sudden Death Battle. In this mode, 1 minute before the time limit, the stage starts to change. Blocks fall, the field floods, and the danger level increases, ensuring a decisive finish instead of a draw. The stage layout changes based on the selected stage for sudden death mode. Press walls, a series staple, are also featured in some stages, adding to the intensity. The page then explains how to create custom Bomberman characters for battle mode. By using a controller pack, you can copy data and create original characters. It is recommended to copy data if you create a custom character, especially for battles with friends, so you can bring your character data on your controller pack. The character's abilities are the same as regular Bomberman, but the fun comes from battling with your own unique creations. The interface shown is for customizing characters by adjusting the cursor in the custom section and using the stick to choose and display your character. This page is all about getting ahead in Bomberman 64 by using items and different attack strategies. It explains how you get items by blowing up blocks on the field and emphasizes how important it is to grab these power-ups to get an advantage. If you eliminate a player, their dropped items are up for grabs, so it's a good chance to collect them. The items you'll find are bombs, fire, power, hearts, and the skull and devil items. Apparently, if you are in a tough spot, using the skull or devil items can turn the tables. Then the page moves on to different attack methods, highlighting that just placing bombs isn't enough to win. It showcases various techniques you can use to fight. There are screenshots showing different moves. Kicking bombs for close-range attacks, throwing bombs to hit enemies further away, picking up and throwing opponents off the stage to eliminate them quickly, and finally using charged bombs for a more powerful explosion. This page from a Bomberman 64 guide dives into battle mode tactics to secure victory. The guide highlights 3 key strategies for players to master. Firstly, keep a high position on 3-dimensional stages. Emphasizes the advantage of height. In stages with varying levels, attacking downwards with bombs or kicks is far more effective. Attacking upwards is difficult, limited to sloped bomb kicks. The advice is clear. Dominate the high ground for a tactical edge in battles on multi-level stages. Secondly, use bomb kicks to catch the opponent off guard. Introduces strategic bomb kicking. Bomb kicks can be used like billiards, bouncing them off walls to surprise opponents. Placing bombs near walls and kicking them creates unexpected attack angles. Players waiting near their bombs are vulnerable. Kicking a bomb towards another can trigger chain reactions and wide explosions, trapping fleeing rivals. Lastly, surprise attack with time difference kick details a sneaky technique. Kicking a bomb just before it detonates and positioning it near an opponent is a simple yet highly effective surprise attack. This tactic is even stronger from higher ground on 3-dimensional stages. By placing a bomb and kicking it at the perfect pre-explosion moment, you create an unavoidable, sudden blast for your opponent to contend with. The next page is about the first battle stage in Bomberman 64. It introduces this stage as simple, with just 5 pillars and rocks, making it ideal for practicing fundamental Bomberman techniques, like bomb kicks and throws. The page then dives into a strategy called surprise attacks using pillars. It explains how hiding behind pillars makes players almost invisible. Using timed bomb kicks from behind cover is suggested to catch opponents off guard. The central, taller pillar is highlighted as a great hiding spot, but warns of potential explosion risks. For safer hiding, pillars at the edge of the screen are recommended. The Tanabota strategy, which involves waiting for opponents to eliminate each other, is also mentioned as an effective tactic when concealed. This page is focused on Battle Stage 2, called To the Upper Level, from Bomberman 64. This stage is described as a 3-tiered structure connected by narrow stairs. The guide mentions that items are located in blocks in the middle tier. Being on the bottom level is risky, due to potential attacks from higher levels. Positioning is highlighted as a key element for winning. The page suggests the best position is the outer perimeter of the top level. While the central top area is spacious and easy to fight in, it leaves you open to attacks from below. The outer perimeter allows for easier bomb kicks and throws to target opponents below. It is noted that many players tend to fight in this area, emphasizing positional battles. This strategy revolves around dropping opponents to lower levels. For team play, cooperating to corner and push enemies down is recommended. The screenshots illustrate gameplay on this stage, with characters placing bombs, and navigating the tiers. Bomb kicks and throws downwards are mentioned as effective attack methods, while hitting opponents above is more difficult. This page introduces Battle Stage 3, titled Pyramid, in Bomberman 64. The text explains that this stage is pyramid-themed, and that while going to higher ground seems advantageous, the platforms become narrow, so it's not necessarily beneficial. It also mentions that the starting points for 4 players are close together, making for immediate action. The page includes screenshots showcasing the pyramid stage in Bomberman 64, depicting gameplay on the tiered pyramid structure. A section titled, Take Items at the Risk of Danger, advises players that while standard strategy might be to throw bombs from above, daringly going for items is also a viable tactic. Getting power-ups can be overwhelmingly advantageous. Continuous bomb throwing from above is possible, but it's not a one-sided attack. It warns players to be mindful of the remaining time and the rising water level.
If you stay low for too long, you will be caught in the water and die before your opponent.
The text also mentions the water rising from below, indicating that keeping to higher ground is crucial as the water level rises, leading to victory. This page introduces Battle Stage 4, Greed Trap, for Bomberman 64. It describes the level's central area where items appear, but going there makes you a target, and returning to the upper level is difficult due to limited stairs. The guide advises players to think carefully about when to risk going for items, as it's a gamble. The text then elaborates that, while being on higher ground is advantageous, choosing this stage implies wanting to collect items. It suggests going for items aggressively but cautiously. If other players are battling intensely, it's a good time to use bombs to destroy blocks, reveal items, and then grab them. Conversely, if another player is item hunting, this is a prime opportunity to attack them from above. The key is to watch the situation and act accordingly to secure items. This page is titled Battle Stage 5, Tengoku Jigoku, which translates to Heaven Hell. The page describes this stage for the Bomberman 64 game, noting it's a wide stage with a lower level that has 4 narrow passages. Being on the upper level is advantageous, but not overwhelmingly so. The guide suggests placing bombs under the passages to attack from below and throwing bombs downwards. It emphasizes that there are no safe spots on this stage. The page then focuses on how to fight in the lower level, recommending placing bombs at the wall edges near the passages to hide them and surprise opponents. It also mentions using bombs to attack enemies on the upper level by placing them under the passages, as normal bombs can reach the top this way. Throwing bombs to knock enemies off the upper level is also suggested when an opponent shows an opening. Screenshots on the page illustrate these tactics and show gameplay on the Tengoku Jigoku stage with Bomberman and enemy characters. This page for the Bomberman 64 game guide is showcasing Battle Stage 6, named In the Shadow of the Grass. The stage is set in a grassy field where Bomberman characters can hide, and bombs become invisible due to the tall grass. This creates a dangerous and unpredictable battleground, even for experienced players, as you won't know where bombs will explode from. The guide suggests that normal bombs are more effective than power bombs on this stage. While power bombs might seem stronger, they are too large and easily avoidable in the grassy area. The recommended strategy is to pick up normal bombs, move around the field, and throw them into the grass to set traps. Instead of relying on power-ups for direct attacks, the guide advises focusing on setting the grass on fire with normal bombs to damage opponents. The screenshots show gameplay in this grassy stage, highlighting the visual aspect of the hidden characters and bombs in the tall grass. This page is about Battle Stage 7 called Murmuring Water from Bomberman 64. It highlights the unique gameplay of this stage, where players are swept along by water currents, making battles unpredictable. The guide advises that the water flow direction changes over time, and suggests reading page 110 for more details. The strategy section emphasizes, keeping upstream is the shortcut to victory. It explains that moving against the current is challenging, while moving with it is easy. The best tactic is to stay upstream to easily escape danger and control the fight. Players are encouraged to use pillars to avoid being carried downstream by the current. The recommended attack is kicking. Kicking against the current reverses the flow temporarily, allowing for another kick and creating a pattern to pressure opponents. Starting the match on pillars is also mentioned as a safe and unexpected tactic. It's noted that while kicking downstream is slow, it can still catch opponents off guard. This page is focused on Battle Stage 8, Pirate Ship, in Bomberman 64. The text describes this stage, which takes place on the deck of a pirate ship that rocks with the waves. It suggests that players who aren't skilled in moving on unstable surfaces might find it challenging. The key to victory is using basic techniques effectively and causing chaos to throw off opponents. The page then details a specific strategy called hide behind the mast and time lag kick. This tactic involves using the masts and pillars as hiding spots to become invisible. From this concealed position, players can utilize timed kicks to launch surprise attacks. The guide advises placing bombs behind the masts as a counter strategy if opponents use this tactic, ensuring they get caught in the blast if they try to hide there. Another tactic is to place bombs while running past the masts to catch opponents off guard. The page suggests trying out these effective strategies in battle. The screenshots show gameplay on the pirate ship stage with barrels and masts. The next page introduces Battle Stage 9, Blizzard Battle, a stage characterized by horizontal snowstorms. It notes that while the wind direction is mainly left and right, the bombs are significantly affected by the wind, unlike the player. The page emphasizes the importance of understanding wind direction for effective gameplay. The highlighted strategy box focuses on long-range attack by throwing bombs from upwind. It explains that throwing bombs from downwind will result in them being blown back and not traveling far. Conversely, in strong winds, throwing bombs from upwind will allow them to reach the far end of the field. The merit of this tactic is significant, as it allows for long-distance bomb throws, especially beneficial when wind direction changes rapidly. Using bomb kicks to further propel bombs from a distance is also mentioned as an effective tactic. The screenshot illustrations show examples of bomb-throwing strategy in this windy stage. The next page showcases Battle Stage 10 titled Slippery Glass from Bomberman 64. This stage features a slippery ice floor that makes movement difficult and less precise. The text advises players to be careful with their footing and directional inputs due to the slippery surface affecting movement speed. It suggests that bomb throwing might be more effective than kicking bombs in this environment. The page highlights a strategy for winning on this stage: bomb attacks from the outside. It explains that while movement is restricted on the ice, the outer edge of the stage provides better footing. The strategy suggests keeping to the edges and using charged bombs for attacks. It mentions that sudden direction changes are difficult and that using large explosions will put pressure on the opponent. The text concludes that by strategically using bomb kicks and keeping pressure on the opponent, victory is assured. The screenshots illustrate gameplay on the slippery glass stage, showing the layout with raised platforms and the slippery ice floor. One image shows a player using a charged bomb attack, emphasizing the suggested strategy. This page features a 4-panel Bomberman manga strip titled Bomberman 4-Panel Theater Part 4. The top 2 panels are titled Custom Bomberman and Ice Cream. In Custom Bomberman, a Bomberman dresses up in knight armor, declaring he will become a warrior, impressing a smaller Bomberman who thinks he looks strong. In Ice Cream, a vendor serves ice cream. A Bomberman orders a single scoop, while another wants a double. The bottom 2 panels are titled Dragon Style and Tower. Dragon Style shows a cat Bomberman stating she is a cat, and a dragon Bomberman stating he is a dragon, with another Bomberman finding it cool. In Tower, the ice cream vendor serves a tall tower of ice cream. A Bomberman is about to accept it, but then something unexpected happens, and the Bomberman vendor seems to hit the tower with a mallet, causing the tower to collapse and the customer to cry in disappointment. The manga appears to be humorous and showcases the Bomberman characters in everyday situations with comedic twists. This page is titled Secret File and reveals a secret in a game where even after clearing it, there are still hidden elements to discover. The secret revealed here is the appearance of Rainbow Palace. To unlock the Rainbow Palace, players must collect all the gold cards from Worlds 1 to 5 and defeat the boss Altair. After clearing Worlds 1 to 4 and progressing to Black City, defeating Altair will trigger an ending. However, this is described as a bad ending. The true ending can only be seen by defeating the real enemy in the Rainbow Palace. To reach the Rainbow Palace, players need to obtain all the hidden gold cards scattered throughout Worlds 1 to 5, totaling 100 cards. This is presented as a challenging task. It is recommended to use the story mode map to locate the gold cards. The Rainbow Palace is described as a stage beyond the previously cleared worlds, suggesting a significantly higher level of difficulty. This page reveals secrets to unlock extra battle stages in Bomberman 64. Secret 2 unlocks battle stages 7 and 8, named Water's Murmur and Pirate Ship. By simply clearing worlds 1 through 6 in the story mode, you can then select these stages by moving the stick right on the stage selection screen. Secret 3 unlocks battle stages 9 and 10, Blizzard Battle and Slippery Glass. To unlock these, you need to collect all 120 gold cards and clear worlds 1 through 6 in story mode. Completing both secrets means you'll have a total of 10 battle stages available. You can complete these requirements in either Waku Waku mode or Doki Doki mode. The page also mentions that Hudson's Joy-Card 64 controller, with its continuous fire function, can make accessing battle stages 7 through 10 easier. For quicker access, players can hold the Start button on the main menu and use 12 continuous shots for 5 seconds. This page details secret features in Bomberman 64, focusing on unlocking custom parts and additional options. Secret 4 explains how to obtain custom parts. To get these, you need to fulfill specific conditions, and the images show 3 different Bomberman custom part appearances numbered 1, 2, and 3. Condition 1 is to collect all 120 gold cards. Condition 2 is to clear all worlds within 3 hours. Condition 3 is to collect all gold cards in Doki Doki mode and clear all worlds within 3 hours. It's also noted that conditions 1 and 2 can be completed in either Waku Waku or Doki Doki mode. Secret 5 reveals how to increase the option menu items. By meeting the following conditions, additional options will become available. The screenshot displays the option screen with settings like sound, stereo/mono, bomb limit, sticky/standard, and then unlockable options. Clearing up to World 4 unlocks the Kyoku option, which is related to music. Clearing worlds 1 through 6 unlocks the theater option, likely for viewing game scenes. Finally, obtaining all 120 gold cards and clearing worlds 1 through 6 unlocks full power mode. When full power is on, you can start story mode with bombs, fire, remote control, and power abilities already active. This page is the front cover of the Bomberman 64 official guidebook. It features an image of Bomberman facing off against a blue dragon-like creature. The title Bakuban is prominently displayed in large letters, and below the image it clearly states Bomberman Official Guidebook. The page also includes the ISBN, price, and other publication details for the guidebook. This page is the front cover of a Bomberman 64 official guidebook. The cover prominently features Bomberman in a dynamic pose against a golden backdrop. The title, Baku Bomberman in Japanese, and Bomberman 64 inches in English is displayed, along with text indicating this is a special edition from Koro Koro Comic, published by Shogakukan, and created in cooperation with Hudson. It serves as an official guidebook for the Bomberman 64 game.